Okay, and then I have 239. Position 1. Kendall Kirk, 0. Position 4, Becky Travis, 0.
Thank you.
Position 5, Labus, 0. And position 6, Tammy Shanks, 0. Okay, Post Rock Extension District 3. Townships, 298 townships. Brady Coover, 125. City of Barnard, 14.
Wait a minute.
Townships.
Be under Post Rock, wouldn't it?
Okay, 125 you said, the first one?
Yep.
125, okay. What was the next one?
City of Barnard,
Okay,
14.
okay.
City of Beverly, 16.
Um,
Let's see.
okay, yep.
Lincoln Ward 1, 54.
Mm-hmm.
Ward 2, 78. And 2 paper.
Check.
And townships, 299 township.
You have a total of 294 on that.
3 votes in 299 townships, yeah.
Under,
299
oh
townships.
yeah, here it is, okay, 3. Mm-hmm.
Total of 294. I haven't added that up, but I think that's right. No, I don't know whether it is or not. 10,
Okay, tell me the numbers.
125,
Okay,
14,
okay,
16,
okay,
54,
okay.
2, 78, and 3.
292.
How about
Two.
now?
292.
I didn't think they changed the total after I crossed that out. Okay, position 4 in District 1 of townships. I think I will go to 298 townships and read all the paper about, or all the write-ins. Alexis,
I'm with you.
that way you won't have to go back and forth, because they're all there. Ryan Spear has 1 vote. Jeremy Rosebrook has 2 votes. Sandy Fulk has 1 vote. Derek Oftenberg has 2 votes. Scott Green, 1 vote. Larry Jones, 1 vote. Tim Meyer, 1 vote. Becky Rathburn, 1 vote. Carla Morikel, 1 vote. Toby Fleming or Fleming, 1 vote. Todd Salter, 1 vote. Then if you'll find the City of Beverly, there is 1 vote for Arletta Morse. Lincoln, Ward
Wait a minute.
1.
1 second, no. Oh, here it is, okay.
Lincoln, Ward 1. William Hill, 1 vote. David Bell, 1 vote. Jonathan Shale, 1 vote. Pat Biggs, 1 vote. And I need to go back to Post Rock District Extension 3, I missed a write-in vote, I think. I don't think I called it, did I?
Larry Jones.
Larry Jones, 1.
In which,
It's in position 3, District 1, Extension Post Rock.
for 298 townships?
Townships?
Yeah, Township, I'm sorry. 298 Township,
Larry Jones.
Yes.
1
Got it.
vote.
Okay.
Is that all of them?
I think that's it. I hope I read them all.
Mark all of them full.
If you're done, I'll just go grab it. Okay. Advance. And they're gonna have all of the races on that one. And then, do you want me to do the M100s or do you wanna do the M100s? These would be the paper ballots.
Okay.
They should be in the same order as that, but maybe not necessarily. But they should be.
So how does a mail-in ballot remain anonymous if they have to mail it in with their signature?
They mail in their ballots, and then we check their signatures with the signatures that appear on the machine, or on our voter registration system, and they're deposited into the box. If there's any that is questionable, whether or not it's their signature, then we put a flag on it, and when the board comes to vote, or to count, they check all of those. If anything is questionable, we'll pull out the physical card, let them check it, then they decide if it's going to be voted or not voted. Then once that's all done, then they start opening up ballots. So they open the ballots, all of the ballots, separate them. You have to leave 3 ballots in the can. So if they start at 5 p.m., they have to leave 3 ballots in the can to keep the
Finish the
secrecy.
tally at the end.
Yeah, it's to keep the secrecy. So then that way, if somebody would happen to come in and bring their ballot at the end of the night by 7 p.m., then if it's added to the can, you can't tell how they voted. So then they separate the ballots, and then they pile them based upon what type of ballot they are. In this instance, because we only used 1 can. If on a big election night, we use 3 cans because we can't put all of the ballots on 1 memory card. So we separate them by memory card as to which ballots are on that memory card. So like that night, they had just 1 memory card because all precincts could list on it. And so then they open them and they pile them. So nobody's ever looking at.
So you check all the signatures first, then you go back and open all of them together at one time.
So all 5 people are opening ballots, zipping them open and laying them out. It'll be the same as what you guys are going to do.
With the questionable ones. Is that what we...
With the
They'd be
provisionals.
provisional.
They're not questionable, they're just either their name didn't match, their address didn't match, something about their voter registration changed.
298, number 1, position 1, City of Lincoln, precinct 1. Patricia Winters, 5 votes. Precinct 2, 8 votes. The M100s, Precinct 1, 6 votes. Precinct 2, 3 votes.
Hold on a minute, please. Okay, 1, 6, precinct 1,
Yep,
and 3 in precinct 2.
yes. Makes a total of 22. Position 3, Deborah Zacco. Precinct 1, 7. Precinct 2, 8.
Just a minute. Okay.
M100s, Precinct 1, 4. Precinct 2, Precinct 2, 2 votes. Makes a total of 21. Position 5, TJ Johnson. Precinct 1, 7. Precinct 2, 8.
Just a minute. Okay.
M100, Precinct 1, 6. Precinct 2, 3. Makes a total of 24. Position 4, member 2, position 4. Gina Eckhart. This is in 298 townships.
Wait a minute. Okay.
27. City of Barnard. 1. M100s, Township. 15. So 14 plus 1's at,
Where you on?
298 townships, Gina.
I have one
For the
paper
paper,
ballot.
okay.
So
That's
I
a
have
paper.
14.
Yeah,
Okay.
14
I
and
have
1
one.
paper, okay. I didn't know what that meant. City of Beverly, 1 vote. Makes a total of 44. David Gersman, 298 Township. 14. City of Barnard, 2. City of Beverly, 1. M100s townships, 4. And I have 1 paper ballot.
Check.
22 is the total.
1 paper ballot in the townships, you said?
Yep, I have it.
She's got
Okay,
paper
and then,
ballot.
I'm sorry, and did you say, did we do Barnard?
2.
I have 0.
At Beverly, oh.
I have 0 in Barnard for,
Are you on the M100s or are you on the other?
No,
No,
the
there were no M100s except the townships, and there were 4. The rest of them were zeros.
okay. Okay.
Okay, City of Barnard Mayor. David has 3 write-in votes.
On the IVO or M100?
IVO, IVO.
Okay.
Position 1, Nancy Houghton has 3 votes. Position 2, Randy Pickering has 2 votes. Or no, 3 votes, I'm sorry, 3 votes. Okay, I'll move to the city of Beverly. For mayor, Charlene DeWitt has 1 write-in. And then on the M100, she has 1 write-in. That's 2 votes.
Okay, I have the one on the M100, she's gonna just show like a number 1, and then they have to write it in here.
One write-in, okay. Yep.
Position 3. Sarah Timpson has 1 vote.
On the IVO.
On the IVO, yes.
Mhm.
Position 4. Terry DeWitt has 1 vote on IVO, 2 on M100. Makes a total of 3.
She was on the ballot.
What's the name? Terry DeWitt?
Terry DeWitt.
And you said how many on the IVO?
1,
Okay,
and M100, 2.
okay.
Position 5, write-in. On the IVO, 1 vote for Rhonda Bell. City of Lincoln. IVO, Travis Schwartzfeger. Precinct 1, 7. Precinct 2, 8. M100. Precinct 1, 6. Precinct 2, 3. Makes a total of 24. Precinct 1, Position 2, Ivo Melody Larson, 7. The M100, 5.
1 minute. I'm finding position 2.
It's gonna be on precinct, Melody Larson is on precinct 2.
Oh,
Or precinct 1, sorry,
One.
precinct 1.
1.
oh, here it is. How many?
Which one you on?
Melody Larson?
IVO.
Ivo, 7.
Yes, okay.
And the M100, 5.
Yes, okay.
Total of 12. Position 2.
That's gonna be on precinct 2.
It's Precinct 2, Elijah Keever, 7 votes. The M100, 2 votes. Makes a total of 9. $2.99. This will be $2.99 townships. Position 5, Danielle Palmer, 3 votes. The city of Sylvan, on the M100, 5 votes. Makes a total of 8.
She's still looking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I also had townships and 100 votes. I had 5 on the IVO. And
Well,
then
it says, this is, isn't
Town-
it? Oh,
township.
is it townships? They could have been in the wrong column.
Yeah, it's possible.
City of Sylvan,
I also have City of Sylvan here. Where? but in the city of Sylvan, I have 0.
Okay. So they're in the wrong.
So
column.
They're in the wrong column.
In the township, I do have 5. So I have townships, 3 on the IBO and 5 on the M100 sheet.
Yes.
Total, they're just in the wrong column.
And then in the city, 0.
Yeah.
Position 4, townships, 299. Virgil Lawson, 3. And he has 5 on the M100s. Are they in the city of Sylvan or are they in townships? I don't know.
Township.
Okay.
Actually, just there are 0 votes on the M100 for the city, period.
Okay, all right, so these are all in the wrong column, probably, evidently. Position 6. 3, Laura Griffiths, 3. M100, 3. Makes a total of 6. Kylo Heller, 299 townships, 0. Yeah. And in the M100 she has 2. Makes a total of 2 votes.
What were those under now, Joe? Township or on the 100?
M100.
M100 townships, I assume, because they were all
This has 0 M100s for under the city
under the city.
precinct. The city precinct has 0 tally on anything for the M100 sheet. And actually,
I don't see a Colorado.
there's
299 townships on the M100 has 2 votes for Heller, right?
yes, right here,
Okay.
right there.
Okay.
All right. Total of 2 votes. Okay, there was no advance in the city of Sylvan.
No.
There was no advance in 299 or 239.
I have 1.
You have a vote in
I have 1 under 2. You said 239.
239
I have 1 vote.
for
Well, no. I'm sorry. He's on the ballot. It says 0, and then it says undervotes for above contest 1.
Right in.
Oh, I guess it says that for almost all of them.
that's how many cast their votes. Right.
Total?
How many people vote?
Well, if it undervoted, that just means that somebody voted the ballot but didn't necessarily vote that race.
That position.
Okay.
Because an
Right.
undervote
Okay,
means
so
that.
correct 0 for
Yeah,
239 position 1.
all of them.
I have, okay, for the school district, yes, correct.
For school district 112, I have no votes.
Correct.
Okay, Post Rock Extension.
In township,
We got everything.
Where are you gonna start at?
I vote 298 townships.
okay,
Brady Coover 37.
yes.
City of Barnard 3. City of Beverly
Just a minute. Yes, okay.
1.
Yes.
Lincoln Precinct 1. 6.
Yes.
Precinct 2, 7.
Yes. Is precinct 2 on the east side? Is it west and west is 1, east is
East.
2?
I have to think about. my
299 townships. 3.
Yes.
239 townships. 1.
Yes.
Now we're ready for the M100s.
Okay.
298 Townships, 15. 1 paper, Don.
Yes.
City of Beverly. 2.
I think you're good.
Precinct 1, 4.
You're good.
Precinct 2, 3.
Check.
299 Townships, 3.
Yes.
That's too many to add up. You want to add them up? 37, 3, 1, 6.
Hang on.
Oh.
Okay, 37 plus 3 plus
1 plus 6.
Hang on, 37 plus 3 plus 6.
Yep.
Okay.
7, 3, 1, 16, 2, 4, 3, 3, total.
86.
Okay, I have on the M100, I have 1 write-in in 298 Townships.
And I have it, sorry,
Oh,
Max Wallace.
yes, Max Walsh.
1.
Okay, now, position number 4. Find 298 Townships.
Ivo. Aljo, are we doing the Ivo first?
Yes, yeah, there are, well, I think it's a paper maybe.
I do have one.
Okay. Nick Biggs has 1 vote. Mona Gerstmann has 1 vote.
Wait a minute. Mm-mm.
Post office done showing the fourth position.
Oh, I'm under Barnard. Okay. Yes, okay, I'm sorry. Mona Gershman, Nick Biggs.
Yep.
Got it?
Mike Rosebrook,
Uh-huh.
Katie Good.
2.
I have 1 and Don has
Yeah.
1.
Oh, yes, I have one.
Or you
I have 1.
have 1, 2. Screwed it.
Yeah, I had a ton of write-ins. I think that was the Lincoln precinct, so was that all the write-ins that you had?
For 298 Townships.
That's all everything I had on my phone. Paper.
I have 3 write-ins under the M100 on USD 298. Is that what we just did? US
Mm-hmm.
Precinct 1.
I only had one that ended up voting. So they might have colored the circles, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they wrote anybody in.
You have that
Mm-hmm.
under Precinct 1, not Townships. I'm sorry, we just did Townships. We did USD 298 Township,
Yes.
and we had 4 write-ins for a total of 5, because 1 was 2. You had the 1. Now I'm on USD 298, Lincoln City Precinct 1. I have 3 write-ins under Post Rock Extension, position 4.
And they must have colored in the circle and not wrote anybody's name in, because there's nothing on this tally.
You can just push the button and you don't have to type it
The
in. If it's-
M100s, you fill in the circle.
Oh,
It's a paper ballot.
okay, so that doesn't count for anything, it's just, okay.
They didn't mark it.
I have one also of those in, under townships, is that the second? Under 298 townships. I have one write-in under extension district, position 4.
298 townships?
Mm-hmm,
Right. That was the Katie Good one.
okay, that makes a total of 5 then, okay. Yep.
Is that all?
Mm.
Okay. Okay, what we'll do is, was there any of them that had a tie? Because the tie ones, you guys
We
will
haven't
have
got
to
the
decide.
provisions done yet.
Oh, that's right.
Well, so
Okay.
Russell, Mitchell,
So-
Osborne County count the ones in 299, correct?
Are these the tapes that, when we had our discussion about looking at ballots, that these are not public, you can't access them as public record?
Right.
Even though they're in a public meeting?
Correct, because these will be part, the tally books, and these will go in with the ballots and get stored with the ballots for destruction. The only thing that remains open is the certificate of votes cast and
What he was checking?
Uh-huh, because once you guys double check these, this is product of the board, the product of the, election boards. Okay. I forgot to grab my sheet. Let me run up and grab something real quick.
It's what?
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, that was a good hour, Will's. Yes.
I don't know who wants to look at this or if you want to use my guidance or not, but these are the situations and whether or not they should count. Moved within the city of Beverly.
Yes.
Moved within the city of Lincoln.
Yes.
And these are all, if it says they were moved, they were registered voters previously. Moved within the city of Lincoln. Voter changed last name, address is correct, and voter registration.
Yes.
Voter had no valid ID at the polls and has not provided it.
No.
Do those get destroyed?
Uh,
The ones that we reject from,
They get put into the ballot box with everything else, and then in 2 years, they're destroyed. Voter did not have valid ID at the polls and has not provided it.
how much time do they have to bring an ID in?
They have until the canvass. Voter changed last name, they got married, address is correct, and voter registration.
Yeah.
Voter changed last name, they got married, address is correct, and voter registration. Voter did not have valid ID at the polls. Voter provided proof of ID on 11/8 in the clerk's office.
Yeah.
Voter moved within the city of Sylvan Grove. Voter not registered in Lincoln County. Registration was canceled in Saline County, and he now resides in Lincoln Precinct 2. So he was not a registered voter in
No.
Lincoln County. Voter is registered in Jewell County and moved to Lincoln Precinct 1. And they were not a registered voter. And I didn't think about bringing down letter openers. Let me go grab you some. Unless you want to tear them apart, that's up to you
They're
guys.
just taped, right? It's just a piece of tape, right? Let me pull it off.
Some of them are sticky.
Throw them out on the table and look at it.
The ballot in this. This one, I just pulled that out of here.
Unless they decided not to vote it.
There's this.
Grab them all.
Let me go call Heather and see where they might have put it.
You wanna do tally vote?
Another read.
You're gonna read these.
supervising judge
What's that?
see, but regardless, we won't be able to have anything to count because we can't open up their. My assumption is maybe they changed their mind and letting vote in the machine.
Oh,
Do I need to separate these by, or just do them by ballot?
Abstract is. Okay. The abstract is by provisional, so we can separate them out each. However, when reading them, it might be helpful to have them in, like, at least alphabetical order. So, here's USD 298 Township. If you at least group them that way. Separately.
There, I think these are all cities.
Yeah. That might be the easiest thing. And then when you guys get 5 votes for something, you need to say check, so that way you make sure that you, or tally, or something.
You gotta talk to them on here when we get done.
Yeah. And then we will input them in and do you an abstract.
he slid it in the ballot box before they could get it in the envelope, and it's sealed in her bag.
Okay.
She said I put it in with my stuff and sealed it,
Is it by itself?
with the machine rules and stuff. But she said she sealed it up.
Do you want, I'm assuming it's loose in her ballots. Do you want to count it, or do you want to not worry about it?
It was moved within the city.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should count it because it's not, it doesn't change precincts or districts or.
Do you want to just bring the whole bag in? If we can see it, if not,
Is it
has
like
to remain
that?
sealed.
Would it be the same as those?
She said it's sealed with her other ballots, so,
I mean, can we put those in there and pick them all out together?
no.
It's sealed in her bag with all of her supplies.
I think that you can look through and be able to read through.
Oh, you can't open it.
We can't open it.
We think we can read them.
Yeah, you can read it.
Okay.
I assume if you took the time to fill out a ballot, you know,
Yeah, if we can read it, I don't have a problem doing it.
you'd want it to count if you took the time to fill it out, I would
Yeah.
think.
So we'll do those first and then we'll come grab this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm on 298 Townships. USD 298, number 2, position 4. Ready? Gina Eckhart. Post Rock Extension District, Brady Coover.
Does that mean one
Yeah.
Just put a 1 and then we'll
in the
put one.
first line, in the first box?
Yeah, that's what I do. Then we'll get the
Okay.
5 and then across them.
And post- Brady Coover one?
Yes.
Okay.
Gina Eckhart. Post Rock District, Brady Coover. 298, Gina Eckhart. Post Rock District, Brady Coover. Moving to the city of Beverly. Mayor, Charlene DeWitt. Position 3, Harold Flaherty.
How do you spell that?
Flaherty. Position 4, Terry DeWitt. Position 5, Maggie Peterson.
Maggie?
Maggie, I don't know. That's what it looks like. 298, position 4, David Gersman. Post Rock Extension District 3, position 3, Brady Cooper. City of Lincoln. This is 2, precinct 2. Mayor Travis Fortsfeger. Position 2, precinct 2, Elijah Keever. .298, position 1, Patricia Winters. Position 3, Deborah Zacco. Position 5, TJ Johnson. Post Rock District. Position 3, Brady Cooper. Now I'm going to precinct 1, City of Lincoln. Mayor Travis Fortsfeger. Council position 2, Melody Larson. School district position 1, Patty Winters. Position 3, Deborah Zacco. Position 5, TJ Johnson. Post Rock District 3, Brady Cooper. City of Lincoln, Precinct 1, Travis Schwartzfeger, Mayor. Melody Larson, Position 2, Council. 298, Position 1, Patricia Winters. Position 3, Deborah Zacco. Position 5, TJ Johnson. Post Rock District, Position 3, Brady Coover. And Position 4, we have a write-in, Ray Harlow.
I didn't vote for him. Just saying.
He voted for himself.
I don't think anyone voted.
You want me to read that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think eventually.
Shaking it.
City of Sylvan for mayor. Stephen Bohr. Council position 1, Rhonda Michler.
Just shake the bag a little bit.
Position 5 for 299, Danielle Palmer. Position 4, Virgil Lawson. Position 6, Laura Griffiths. Post Rock Extension, Brady Coover. That's it.
Okay, so now we'll need to take your certificates of votes cast. USD 298, member 1, position 1, Patricia Winters on 298 townships. Or if you guys wanna tell me what you have, maybe that's the easiest. If you wanna start at the very beginning. Let's just start at the beginning. You tell me what you have up above. So it says USD 298 townships.
Okay. I have 3 for Gina Eckhart.
Okay, let me. Do you have 3?
If you have something different.
No.
tell me.
No, I'll let
Okay.
you know if I do.
Brady Cooper, 3.
Hang on one second. They must have forgot extension, so I'm gonna write it in. Hang on. Extension district and its position number.
District 1, position 3.
Okay, and how many?
3.
Okay, Gina Eckhart 3, Brady Cooper 3.
Yes.
Next race.
299 townships.
Okay.
Nothing. Correct.
I don't have anything till we get to Beverly.
Okay.
239, nothing. 112, nothing. City of Barnard, nothing. City of Beverly.
City of Beverly.
Mayor Charlene DeWitt, 1. Position 3, Harold Flaherty, 1.
Hang on. Charlene DeWitt 1. Harold
Flaherty,
Flaherty 1.
I believe that's correct. Terry DeWitt, 1 on position 4.
Okay.
Position 5, Maggie Peterson, 1.
Okay.
298, member 2, position 4, David Gertzman, 1.
Okay.
Post Rock Extension District, position 3, Brady Cooper, 1.
Okay.
Sylvan Grove,
Ready?
Mayor Stephen Bohr, 1.
Okay.
Position 1, Rhonda Mishler, 1.
Okay.
School Board member 1, position 5, Danielle Palmer, 1.
Okay.
Position 4, Virgil Lawson, 1.
Okay.
Position 6, Laura Griffiths, 1.
Okay.
Post Rock Extension, Brady Cooper, 1.
Okay.
Lincoln City,
Okay.
Precinct 1, Travis Sportsfager, 2.
Okay.
Position 2, Melody Larson, 2.
Okay.
Position 1, Patricia Winters, 2.
Okay.
298, position 3, Deborah Zacco, 2.
Okay.
298, position 5, TJ Johnson, 2.
Okay.
Post Rock Extension, position 3, Brady Coover, 2.
Okay.
Position 4, Ray Harlow, 1.
That distracts me. Position 4. Ray Harlow, 1. Okay.
Precinct 2, City of Lincoln.
Okay.
Travis Swartzfetter, Mayor, 1.
Okay.
Position 2, Elijah Keever, 1.
Okay.
Position 1, Patricia Winters, 1.
Okay.
Position 3, Deborah Zacco, 1.
Okay.
Position 5, TJ Johnson, 1.
Okay.
Post Rock Extension, Brady Cooper, 1. That's it.
Okay, everybody was in agreement? Okay, so Patricia Winters, 2 + 1 = 3. Do you want to, you will put it in, yeah, where it says provisional.
Provisional, 3.
Yep. Deborah Zacco, 2 + 1 = 3. TJ Johnson, 2 + 1 = 3. Gina Eckhart, 3. David Gershman, 1. And if I can go in too fast, say something. Brady Cougar, 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Wait a second.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
8.
8. And then write in for position number 4, did they leave you a line? Enough line? If not, just add it to the bottom and I'll have them do it, because they'll do an abstract for you on the fancy paper. Okay, USD 299, Danielle Palmer, I have 1. Virgil Lawson, 1. Laura Griffiths, 1.
Okay, that's on position 5.
Position 5, 1 for Danielle Palmer.
Okay, and Virgil Lawson.
Position 4, 1.
Okay.
Sorry. Position number 6, Laura Griffiths, 1.
Okay.
City of Beverly. Charlene DeWitt, 1. Council position number 3, Harold Flaherty, 1.
Who?
Harold Flaherty, you'll have to write it in. Position 4, Terry DeWitt, 1. Position 5, Maggie Peterson, 1. City of Lincoln. Travis Schwartzfager, Mayor, 3.
3.
Yes. Melody Larson, position 1, or sorry, position 2, precinct 1 is 2.
2.
Elijah Keever, precinct 2, position 2, 1. And then City of Sylvan Grove. Mayor Stephen Bohr, 1. Rhonda Mishler, City Council position 1, 1. And that's it. And then you guys can prove that, and then I need you both to sign, all 3 to sign your tally books and all 3 to sign your certificates of votes cast.
I have a question. Under the provisional ballot counting, it says a registered voter moved anywhere in the state within 30 days of an election and voted at former precinct. How do we know that for the ones that we said moved from a different county to our county?
Mean that would count.
They would have had to have gone back to the county that they came from. So like the one that said Jewel County, they would have needed to go back to Jewel County to vote. And then their county board
if they were
can
voting
allow-
in their old,
Yeah.
if they went to vote in
Yeah.
their
30
old
days.
district, but they had already moved and didn't change their address. Okay, I
Yeah.
see.
And there's a form you have to fill out to do that. Okay, and today is the 13th. If you want to fill out your tally sheet somewhere, there should be probably dates. Yes, I'll show you those.
Where, at the bottom?
Yeah.
On the last page, on the front page?
Either or. Just consistently.
Do we sign all of them?
Yes.
Do I sign their tallies?
Yes.
We only need to sign the top sheet. We can sign all the sheets.
No, just consistently one. They just deleted off of their slippers. That's what I need. And then you'll need to sign the seal.
All of us.
Yes. And I know there's only 2 spots.
You want these signed?
No, because I'm gonna print them out on the abstract paper. I'll have them modify them. You guys can proceed, I guess, with your meeting, and then we'll bring them back down and have you sign them. And we won't be able to put, the other county's information in until,
They're certified.
yeah, till they do their. Okay, this is provisional. And then, when we come back with or when I have them do the thing, then we'll see if there's any ties. Cause I think the city of Beverly had a couple of ties for their write-in positions.
Yeah. One at least.
These back.
Do you have my minutes?
Hey, Don, out of curiosity, how long will that take? I want to be here for the tie.
Oh,
Thank you.
shouldn't take too long. I think they only had one correction, so. Do you have to take too long?
It's supposed to be out with right now,
Well, here, let's just look.
I believe you and Bob
but
tied.
yeah,
So if you guys would want to do, you can choose, flip a coin, you can draw lots, whatever you guys want to do. You can put their name in their hand. Hat, pull one out. Just look real quick.
Do they both need to be present to do a coin toss or whatever, or how do we do this?
I don't think so.
Bob's already expressed to me that he really doesn't have the time for it.
Do what?
Bob's already expressed to me that he doesn't have the time for it.
Oh, okay. So you don't think he would dispute a coin toss?
That looks
He
like
can
that's the only
decline,
tie.
can he? I mean,
Yeah, he can.
Has he declined to you?
No. I think Katie's the only person that has called though and asked.
What's that?
I think Katie's the only person that has called and asked,
Okay.
so. Yeah, if you guys wanna go ahead and, what do you wanna do? You wanna draw a name, or do you wanna flip a coin?
It doesn't matter to me.
Is there an official procedure?
Nope.
We do it by choice, we do it by,
You have to do it
You
by
either,
law.
by law, either you flip a coin or you draw a name out of a hat. Which do you wanna prefer?
I prefer draw hat name.
Go find a pair of scissors.
Sounds
like-
Even
sounds
one.
like-
Bunch of, yeah.
Sounds like he's gonna decline anyhow. But we'll do it.
yeah, what happens in that case?
If, let's say for instance, Bob wins the coin toss or drawing name, if he declines, then I would assume that it would go to Katie.
Okay.
That's my assumption, I don't know that.
And it's flashing, it's not a solid red. And look at the number count.
Okay.
Should we stop and start it?
Is a cup okay? I don't,
Yeah.
unless somebody has a hat. Here's a bowl.
I don't.
Okay, same size, folded equally.
Draw one out, Alexis.
Right. Katie's, make it easier.
Bobby, what do you? Okay. So we will send him a notice, and then he just needs to resign to me, and then it becomes, I think, the choice of the city council, and we'll let him know what the vote turnout is. But I'll research that and double check.
Some gravel yardage for you guys to consider. This year we've hauled a little over 17,000 cubic yards. And we've purchased this year $44,000 worth of roadstone from Courthouse. Last year we purchased
Excuse
just
me, could you just repeat that 44,000?
a little over 44, yes.
44,000 from APAC.
APAC, correct. And then last year we purchased just shy of $106,000 from APAC. And I'd say at least half of that was probably hauled during this year. I don't have those numbers available yet.
We bought a pile.
Yeah.
So when you say 17 cubic yards hauled, that is from gravel pits only?
17,000 cubic yards.
I'm sorry.
Yes. That's from local mine pits.
So for that 44,000 from APAC this year, how many cubic yards was that, or how do we haul it out of there? By the cubic yard or by the
By
ton?
the ton.
Ton? How many tons was that?
Oh, I don't have that number.
I remember us making one purchase, and I think it was 8 something. Does that sound familiar?
I can't remember.
I think
It was
we
less
were-
than $1 million. It was
I think
eight
it was 8
something
something.
a
And
ton.
so was that all, that 44,000 from one agreement with them, or did we do that twice this year?
We just did one agreement this year, but I think we hauled a couple times out of there.
But it was all at the same price, is what I'm
Yes.
asking.
Should-
So in 2016, the $106,000 purchased from APAC, I understand you said we didn't haul it all that year, but under what line item in your budget did that money come from?
Probably our rock budget,
Rock, sand, and
Rock.
gravel.
sand and gravel.
We
All
bought,
of it?
that 106,000 was, we bought X number of tons and we stockpiled on our lot, correct? The year before, towards the end of the year.
Price goes up every year.
Is there any left in that pile?
We have some, there's not a lot left there.
Third of it, probably, somewhere in that neighborhood.
When you say we didn't
1,500
haul it all,
tons.
did you mean we didn't haul it all out of there, what we purchased from them?
No, we still have some stockpiled on our lot.
We hauled it all out from them, but
Yes.
we kept,
Yes,
we have about a third left now.
Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood, like I
From the
said.
purchase in 16 or from this year?
this year.
Last year, well, most of it from last year, wasn't it?
I'm
Yeah.
assuming you
Some this year, some last, were purchased.
you stored it all together, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's
Whatever you
all-
had in 16, you added to it in
Yeah,
17.
we just added to the
Just one
stockpile.
pile.
Okay. So the rock, sand, and gravel light item is different than just gravel?
It's all underneath the same.
So how did we spend 106,000 out of it if it was budgeted at 100?
We took it out of other places.
Yeah.
Kinda like we did that culvert up there last month, we took it out of other.
The line
Other
items
line
themselves
items.
doesn't matter, it's the bottom dollar.
Bottom dollar.
Yeah.
I
But-
understand that when you're doing the overall budget, but if you're analytically looking at where you spent and where you budgeted, you know, if we spent 106 out of 100, I'm just interested to know where we're pulling other money from, because that would affect how we would be future budgeting.
I couldn't tell you exactly where we pulled it from last year.
Did we haul any gravel in 2016? Because if we spent 106,000 at APAC, was there a dollar amount that we hauled and paid to landowners for
Roughly 51,000.
51,000?
Any other thing, Mike,
That's
on
all I
that
have
information?
this week.
You don't have anything else? Bob, what do you got?
We've been, like I say, working on that bridge up on 20th Road. They poured about half of it, poured bottom footing, and we're forming up and ready to pour the rest of the wing wall and stuff like that on it, so we're working on that. Doing some spot graveling around Denmark, Sylvan area.
Where's that coming from?
It's coming out of Wolf Creek. Or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So, and other than just the normal blading and mowing and stuff, that's all we got going on right now.
So have been out on the roads that we just gravelled since we had the moisture.
Yeah, I was out to the cemetery marking out for a stone there yesterday there on the one we did by Biggs's there. Hell, I just enough to make it kind of sticky and it's picking up and stuff. And Nick stopped and thanked us for doing a good job. He really appreciated it. I thought it looked like it'd be really good gravel. So we got a satisfied customer anyway there. So it'll take a little while. Boys want to get dried down and roll it a little bit more. So I think it's working out okay.
You're overhauling in the Sylvan area. I did talk to Dan Milburn way up there in the northwest corner. He needs a couple of loads he thought in one place on that road going into his house. You know what I'm talking about up there.
The county line.
As far as you can get
Yeah.
northwest. He said most of it's good. There's one spot there he's having problems with. He was wondering if we could put a couple of loads in there.
Okay. Yeah, Dave gave me a list there this morning of different spots
Yeah.
he wants when they finish. They're doing some for
You can ask
Freddie King up there today, and he gets through, go up there and start up in
Dave
Crest
probably
territory.
knows. Dave probably knows where the spot's at.
Yeah, I probably got some of them marked down, and he's got
May
some
have
more.
it marked down.
Yeah. Oh, I guess another thing was going around changing some of our weight limit signs. KDOT come through and changed, inspected some of them, changed some of the weight limits on a few. They just random picked some, so we're working on trying to get them changed. The signs just come in last week, so we're trying to get them up.
Lowering them or raising them or
Both.
both?
Some of it was 6 ton, went to 22 ton. So we're up, went down, so like I say.
We start getting into weather, we're gonna be able to maybe go out and take down some of those bridge marking signs.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
It's pretty tied up at the moment.
Yeah, I mean later on here when we start
Yeah.
getting some weather where you can't do other things, well, be a good time to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, have to up down, get some snow fence up, and try to get some of the signs changed here. Kinda get some of these other little things caught up. Most of the guys are getting closer to having the mowing all done, keep mowers going.
Equipment, break-ins, repairs, any problems?
Yeah, they hauled a mower, a loader from Barnard in Friday, They think it's a water pump maybe, but a few other little problems, I think, too, so I don't know what all they'll find on it.
Yeah, we got a hydraulic motor on another tractor down at the moment. Spare backhoe's down.
We had any more trouble with that Kubota with the mower on it? That pump working all right?
Not
now?
with the pump, since they put that carrier bearing in there, so far, we've had luck with it.
Yeah, I think I got all I got. You all have anything?
Have they been out and looked at that backhoe?
No. We just looked at it in the house. It's one of those, I don't know if we want to invest much in having somebody come out and give us an assessment on it.
Can they check the pressure? There's a place on there where they can check pressures and stuff.
I'm sure they probably could. Like, we can't confirm that for sure, but I can give them a call and find out for sure.
If that'll tell them, give them any idea. Some of those, I think, have a port on them where they can check pressures and stuff. Is everything else working except the transmission? So it's not the hydraulic pumps?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I think they're working. It needs most of the cylinders repacked and sealed. They're all starting to leak bad on it too, so.
Okay, well, it sounds like we'll have some nice weather end of the week, so. It's so
Yeah.
miserable.
One time they talk a little moisture in the middle of the week and the next time
Yeah.
they don't, so.
I have a few questions.
Mhm.
I had asked for a list, well, a map, I should say, showing the gravel locations from what we had done in last year and then this year. And then I was wondering, do you also have a map that shows either what culverts have been replaced or what are planned to be replaced?
I don't think we really have a map, I just have a list of ones we put in on the computer. Whenever we put some in, they go down on, in the computer. Don't really put it down on a map as to which one they want in, what the location and then what size pipe and all that's in the
So you have the
computer.
list by what work was already completed.
Yeah, on what road or,
Do you have a list, like a working list, things that certain routes have turned in as far as, for whomever saw that this particular one is blocked or crumbling or needs attention, or the wing walls have fallen in or something like that?
yeah, we have, like our bridges all have an inspection list of what's wrong with them and our pipe. We take them as they come across, like I say, if something happens to them, we either repair them or replace them, whatever the situation is when we find them. So, most of them we just never know until they come up. I guess. With all the culverts and stuff out there.
Oh, I know,
Yeah,
there are a lot of them. I think that's why, isn't that why we had the conversation once about each person who grades on their route keeps an eye on however many miles, it's about what, 100 miles per person,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Lower.
So they kind of keep track of what is going on in their,
they're supposed to kind of check their culverts and them little box bridges and stuff and let us know if there's something going wrong on them.
is that just because they have the best knowledge of what happens on their route? That's their,
Well, they should know, 'cause they go across it all the time blading, so they should stop and take a look every once in a while and check, make sure everything's okay on them.
so do you request them to turn in, like a like a list of, on 20th at this intersection? I guess I'm just asking if, since each blade operator has 100 miles to deal with, do they each have their own list of culverts that need attention? Not just bridges, I understand the bridges are separate because they have inspections, but the smaller culverts.
Well, if they see something wrong, they let me know where they're at, what's wrong with them and stuff, and I'll go out and check, and when I'm out around, I usually stop and look at a lot of the little box culverts and pipes and stuff, checking them too when I'm in the territory, so. Try to keep a list of which ones need attention when we're in that area working.
Okay. I was just thinking about, do you remember when I asked what the protocol is for turning in those kinds of complaints or those, types of issues? And I believe it was at the department meeting, right? Do you remember when you said it was up to each grader in his area to kind of maintain that area, and then if there was something that you needed to do that they couldn't do, then it was...
Yeah, they need to keep an eye on their territory and let us know what's any problem with culverts or bridges or whatever. And so we know where to go work when if we're in that territory working on something, we can, while we're there, fix it if it's all possible.
The easy things they think to take care of themselves, and anything need backhoe or something like that before they go through Bob on. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
if they
can
needed
coordinate.
additional
If there's
equipment or
just a little hole
additional
washed
help.
out around there, well, they can fill it in and stuff with their blade and stuff, but if we have to do much, well, then we have to get one calls in and all that stuff, and wait for them to be cleared and then get the equipment to do it. So,
How often do you think people are in correspondence with their local operator to tell them if they have a windrow in front of their driveway, or if they noticed a sinkhole or something like that?
I don't know, once in a while somebody stops them and says something to them about.
And you'd consider that to be
There's
okay?
a hole down here, there's a tree across the road, or blew down, or stuff like that. Public travels out there, they're on the roads more than we are, they see more.
Yeah,
So-
they're there all the
so,
time. Yeah, so they kind of have a good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, and some of them have been there many, many years.
yeah, so.
I had visited with the group that we contract, well, I guess the state technically, or through federal funds, I don't know how that all happened with the grant, to be honest, but the group that put in all the signs for us, and they they told me that there was one bridge where they stopped themselves and used shovels and cleaned off along the bridge edges to kind of clear up the buildup that had been pushed against the sidewalls there. Is there something that we can implement to kind of go around and mimic that?
Well, some of it can, some can't. When they blade the roads, windrow will get over there sometimes and stuff against them.
Right.
And stuff. And some of it you can clean up and some you can't because there's signs and guardrail and stuff there. You don't always get it all out of there and stuff. So without going out and pulling signs and taking guardrail down and stuff to clean it, well, there's not much way on some of those to get that out. So without setting up
But I guess where I'm going with this is how much damage has been done over the years with the extra weight and some of those windrows pushing and moving on those sidewalls of some of the culverts and bridges. Because I mean, I have seen personally checking some stuff, sometimes there's a lot of buildup, so much to the point where there's grass growing in that windrow on the inside of the bridge,
Yeah, over the years, yeah, it keeps building up, like I say. And most of the time they try to stay away because if you get too close, then you knock a rock out and stuff too, so.
So do you think it would be a good preventative measure to actually clean off down to the bare bridge structure on a lot of those smaller culverts so that there's not that buildup of dirt that's rolling over the sides.
You can't clear down on some of those. Most of these, it's got the rock and stuff on them, or arches, and you can't clear down to them because they'll ruin the bridge or.
So there's
structure.
supposed to be dirt pushed all the way up over maybe like a,
Well,
like a
it shouldn't
2
be
foot-
clear up over, but it's gonna get up there over the years. The dirt's blade is gonna lower the dirt on the road. It's normal maintenance, and there's
Yeah.
gonna be dirt out there. You can't get it. You may catch a rock and tear it out unless you go out there by hand and dig all of them out.
There's several bridges we've had that over the years have been built up just for the mere fact of being able to get headers and wide loads through there.
so on
There's
this
a few
gravel map
bridges
that
that-
shows, you know, you've kind of marked where we've gravelled in the 2 years back that I kind of asked for. And I was wondering, when you do take gravel out, is that at the request of the blade operator because of his route? And like you said, he knows his route and he says, oh, I could use some gravel on this, you know, intersection or this road.
Well, yeah, like I say, they give me a list, just like they do with pipe or culverts or whatever, and I'm out round, I make a list too, and when we're in that territory, we try to work that area whatever we can. We don't do,
They try to do areas at a time so they don't have to move the equipment around so much.
yeah.
Comes
Do
from
we-
blade man request, we see it, we'll put it down, citizen request. There's many factors that come into play on it.
Yeah.
Where do your citizen requests usually come into? To you, Bob, or through a blade
Well,
man?
they'll call up the office up there where a big percent of them come. Liz takes the call, and if we're around, she'll transfer to us, or otherwise she'll make a note and let us know who called and what they wanted, and we can get back with them then.
Do people ever talk to their blade operator and then the blade operator tells you and then you approve it and then they go and do it?
Well, once in a while they'll stop, but like say, mainly it's just, like say there's a hole in the road down here, a tree fell, stuff like that. It's not like, we want this road gravel, or, yeah, there's some people do, but most of the
Most
citizens
requests come
just,
to the office.
they all come through the office up there. Only like say emergency type stuff, they stop the blade operator and tell them.
So before we created that that complaint sheet this year, were calls just coming into the office and then Liz would just write them down as a logged in call? It wasn't a. Are you saying yes, Michael? Is that if she just logged them in and now you just have a form that's specific to locate it or to say?
Yeah.
Well, I said thank you last week, and I'll just reiterate that. It was nice that I made a request for gravel according to a few people's concerns, and you guys, you know, within 2 weeks, I'd say you were there, and you already had it marked on the map, so that was nice.
Yeah, well, like I say, maybe sometimes people think we don't get there. Like the one over at Barnard's been over a year or better, they've been wanting that, but like I say, we're working in this corner, we don't just pick up and run over there because we got a place there or off here. We try to kind of group them around as we go, and when we're working in an area, not just run back and forth all the time, so.
Now, do you personally know, like, which gravel pit this particular gravel came from on these marked segments of road?
Yeah, we usually try to, like I say, go with what's the closest route. Have to watch where bridges are, whether we can haul across them, which way we can go, routes we can go.
Because I have a list of each gravel pit, and then by each pit it says the date that gravel was hauled, but it doesn't necessarily say where it was hauled to. Do you keep track of that, or?
Yeah, it's all,
I see that too. Yeah, it's got every road name right here.
Oh, that's the road name.
Yep, and it goes by a grid pattern like on the back of your map right
So
there.
it's backwards from the actual road names though, right? The A through Y goes north to south on
Yeah.
this map, but it's actually south
That
to
was the
north.
old system we had before 911 come in, and when 911
Okay,
come
so
in,
this
they had
code
to
is
be
where the
reading.
gravel went then. I see. Okay, I missed that. Thank you for giving me that. Yep, thank you.
Guys have a good week.
Okay, so,
See you on Monday.
thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Michael.
Doug, you're up.
All right,
Hope you brought a check.
just cash.
Just cash. Hey, I like that better.
Everything's here. Dry enough, wet enough.
Well,
Yeah,
Just
well, it
right.
depends. If you're trying to cut, it's too wet.
I haven't seen any of that.
not warm enough to grow wheat.
No. Probably could use
So we
some
have,
moisture.
we have a few complaints, but the good Lord will provide.
Yeah, when we need it.
That's right.
He's giving us a break, what he's doing. He's
Yeah.
giving everybody a break, take a little time off.
That's right. Time to say thanks, appreciations. Well, I wanted to provide some updates, but then also just follow up on a couple of board activities of late, so that's mostly here. I had some other things. NCKCN board member works upstairs, so I had some things to go over with her and get some signatures on. We had a teleconference the last meeting, and she participated that way during lunchtime. And then, well, of course, in town, had things with Kelly to go over, as well as next door here with Ashley, so some other activities. And speaking of that, or involving those folks, one of the updates, which you may have heard of, but Sylvan Grove is in the finals now with the State Housing Rehabilitation Program. Our housing director, Carol, with her assistant, Keegan, from our office, came and met with Kansas Commerce down here and with Jennifer and probably a council member over at Sylvan, just to review community actions. Of course, everybody in the room knows that things have happened in Sylvan, especially with the Dane Hansen incentivizing of, and county incentivizing for removal of debris, and the state noticed that. Of course, the plan we put together for housing rehabilitation is a good one, but the city had to roll up their sleeves and do a lot of that, and that's been recognized. So when I say they're in the finals, we'll probably know maybe 10th of January or thereabouts how they score out, but there was a lot of positives from that site tour there in town.
Good.
Can I ask a question about that? Okay. Jennifer Hill called us on Friday and said something about the house that the county had said that they would tear down as in kind that the hospital owns, that it's been offered to the Sylvan Grove Senior Center for $1. I don't know anything about it, but she wondered how that was gonna play into her grant and what was gonna happen.
Well, they actually had us take that house off the list, correct? Did
Oh.
They didn't
Well,
they?
I don't have the
think-
file with me, but
I believe they did.
We
Isn't that correct?
chose to
We were-
assume the cost ourselves as the county and not have it be a part of the grant.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
did because,
But I think she thought that they had added that in as our match money as far as.
in kind or
in-kind.
force account?
Yeah, and that way they could add more projects,
Uh-huh.
but that we would
we were
still.
still absorbing the landfill costs
Yeah,
of things.
so my assumption is that probably we would put the money that we had estimated to be the landfill charges into that, but I don't know.
I don't know anything about them offering the house to anybody.
I don't either.
They have not.
They have not.
There was, Bob Lovelace came by on Thursday, I guess, and looked around Sylvan and said that they were gonna, the county was gonna buy that house that's on the demolition list for $1 for the Sylvan Senior Center.
I don't know anything about that.
Me neither.
I don't
And we
either.
went to Jennifer Hill and asked about it,
Yeah.
like, what's this going on now?
These are more recent undertakings than I've been aware
And then
of.
that's when Jennifer called you.
Okay, because I hadn't heard anything. Is that something I need to research, worry about?
She
Yeah.
said the house was on the list of the grant to be demolished.
It's
See, that's what
actually the
but we were-
hospital's house.
Yeah, but
We're talking about the one west of the clinic.
That's the one we were going to tear down, yes.
Right.
And we originally had it as part of the grant, and then we took it and removed it from the grant.
because they had more applications,
Yeah.
but we said that we would still, and that would count as their like community cleanup. is how I understood it.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be a part of the grant. We would use grant
Well,
funds
Were
for
we
it.
paying for the demolition cost and the disposal, or just the disposal? I can't.
Well,
remember.
our highway department employees would
Yeah.
demo the house.
So we're
in essence,
absorbing the
we would
whole
pay.
cost.
Yeah, and I think that was used as Sylvan's match, even though it
Mhm.
wasn't part of demolition projects. It was, they were gonna use it as their match of in-kind.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to discuss that or look at that further.
I would think, I
It'd be
don't, I
nice
don't
to
know
know
anything
one
about
way or
it,
the
so.
other.
And then that way you
Which-
guys can look and see
And
how
I
it
can
will
ask
affect.
Carol when I get back, Carol in the office, to see if she knows anything as of today
Okay.
with Jennifer. or-
I suggested that Jennifer call Steve Granzow because I had absolutely no idea. I hadn't heard
I
this.
hadn't
Is it
so-
what? Who is it deeded to?
It's the hospitals.
It's the hospital's house, but because we appoint their board, we would have to sign off on the deed. So I think it's actually in Lincoln County, Kansas's name as Lincoln County Hospital. And it may actually be in Lincoln County Hospital's name, I'm not really sure.
It's a good question. See what happens when we bring things up?
Yeah. Just create more problems, doesn't it?
No, it's trying to get it all clarified.
I don't know anything about it, so.
Unintended, maybe, but you're in the know now. Well, that's very optimistic or hopeful, but we think it's a good shot for Sylvan to receive that, which will be a big boon. It'll help with stabilizing housing, but it'll also help valuation issues over the long run. Plus, the main thing, people in the households. Back in 1995, 96, 97, and even the county project, housing rehab wise, 98, 99, 2000, those have all helped those houses a lot.
If you don't
And the
rehab them,
households.
you're gonna tear them down at some point, so.
Yeah, and they all helped in those sort of circumstances, all of those structures. And even a couple of them have been relocated or moved. But. Well, another thing it's more light because it's new, but the NCK Food Council, Lincoln County's participating in that, as maybe I've said before. Ashley from Post Rock, as well as Galen from County Health Department related, they're the main cogs or contacts from this county on that. And the big first thing is a food system assessment. And that's really just identifying exactly what local foods are prepared, or when I say prepared, produced, and what the demands or the wants are in the county. So it's sort of number stuff, data collection kinds of things. That'll be a first initiative, which hopefully in the next 6 months we get that pretty solidified. So, but the objective over, say, 2-3 years is to have some better handles and maybe even some more support, not just for grocery store kind of things that we get involved with, business finance gap stuff, but it's more support for specialty crops or local food producers. So, and maybe tilt things, because right now it's probably 2% of the consumption in most counties is coming from within. A lot of that's gardeners or farmers market stuff, so it's pretty small. And that's an economic thing too. So. Well, another thing, just little updates, but the person that was sitting here in this mildly warm chair, Mike, has been well received on the Homeland Security Council with David. Now Mike is covering all of the public works directors in the region of Homeland Security, the North Central region. And there's a meeting next week to go over projects for 2018. But a lot of those projects are multi-county projects. And what David and Mike, mostly David, have been to training through the Homeland Security program, it's for response kinds of things, or how to respond and then recover. And I don't know if David has gone elsewhere beyond this region with different things, but that's why people are getting trained, is so that we can see that support, because some other county had an issue or an ailment or some challenge and needed that support. But it's going to reciprocate here too if there's an issue on the highway or some other natural disaster kind of thing. It could even be just a gas leak or something like that. So, but it's to get the training. I still remember back about 3 years ago, the volunteer fire department training though that was well received. All of those volunteers that came, probably 110 over 2 different Saturday mornings that were trained. That was really good, with a lot of hazards and mutual aid kinds of trainings, basic stuff, but still valued. Our revolving loan fund committee, which you have a member on from this county, just recently made a loan to a business that works a little bit up here, but it's mostly in Saline County, where their core operations are. For private reasons, I can't say anything more, but just so you know, there's a little bit of impact here. They do things in mostly Saline County, but a little bit on the periphery kinds of stuff. And I also wanted to mention that, well, as you know, but it's more of curiosity, we helped with the, I call it pre-design option number 3 for assisted living kinds of endeavors. And I haven't heard anything from John Grace about that. I mean, I assume he's making some plans and having some ideas, but I don't know if you've seen anything lately. Mostly with the city, probably. So, our involvement was, again, just the pre-design work and providing some facility planning dollars there, which we had on the existing operations. So, but I was kind of curious what's new, if it's moving or something happening, but I could check in with Heather.
Yeah, it's mostly cities.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how does that, does it make you feel okay that something's going to happen, or is it's a nervous thing? Last time I was here, I know it was a nervous thing, so it's...
Yeah, I think there's good and bad.
People will be
There's good and bad.
cared for.
You know, we gotta figure out what we're doing, you know.
Okay.
I think private investment is always a good thing.
And then follow up on board activities here of late. I didn't know if Ashley, or not Ashley, shared on food council stuff, but Alexis had shared any on staff report updates on just that big thing that's about 10 pages long. But that shows some of the stuff that I'm talking about here, but some other more nitty-gritty things. And say, for example, Kelly and I recently went over to Beverly and did a little city council strategic doing kinds of thing with them, although they only had 3 out of 5 council members and the mayor, city clerk there, but just talking about some basic high priority things for 2018, and one of them happens to be a lift station concern. But when it's a big concern here, because if that fails, like Barnard's, then you've got a lot of problems. But we kind of narrowed it down that it's not the whole thing that might fail. It might just be one piece or one part. Because in reality, the project we helped with is only about 14 years old. So it's not that old of a overall unit, but it might not be the best quality when it was first installed. But still, it has some components that may just be failing instead of the whole thing. So that's how the strategic doing process works. It narrows things down, and the intentions is to check out what the value, the cost of just those parts are, and somebody like street plumbing could be engaged to do that. And it might just be a few $1,000s, which they have on hand, instead of trying to do something elaborate in a year and a half or so. Do something right now before things fail. So that was probably a pretty good example of something positive.
We just canvassed the vote. There looks to be a little more interest over there in seeking office, so maybe to motivate.
Yeah, and this would have been before the election. I didn't read the results yet to see how the interest was and what's happening. The other side of things is they've observed what took place in Sylvan Grove in regards to what I call a community initiative, and some rolling up the sleeves and taking care of things. And there might be some interest in what I call even just a community cleanup day. And Kelly to the south here is going to follow up on some of that activity. But if they can do a few things just on their own, get some people interested, maybe some community pride could develop. Because there have been a few things happen from the Ag Services side to improve things.
Does the Planning Commission ever help facilitate a strategic plan on behalf of the county?
We have here in this county and in Jewell County. That's about it. Those are older Well, Jewel County's is probably more 10 years old, but Lincoln County's is probably a good 15, something like that. But yeah, we have.
Is that something that is a potential in the present?
It could be. Now, it was updated here but I haven't seen what I call the written process, but it was updated about 4 years ago.
I'm only aware of a strategic planning that happened with our economic development.
And that's what it was.
That's what it
That's what I'd say the core impetus was, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Because I don't think you guys were a part of that, right?
No, 4 months.
Well, it was only about 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, the original one.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
original one
they
was a
reported
long
to
time
you, but
back.
it was
kind of
the-
Charlene Jones.
Yeah, Charlene was big.
Mr. Copeland days was back a few years ago.
I had reported to the board about a few things, and the one thing I just wanted to verify with you at the one board meeting for the North Central Regional Planning Commission, we had discussed and opted to take a bid on an audit. So for this organization, how often are you audited? Every year?
Yep, it's an annual audit, and it encompasses both what I call the basic activities, general endeavors, and with the audit firm, they have one that focuses on that, and then the other auditor is more specialized in what I call the federal or state funding activities, and they usually pick on a couple major programs, like Homeland Security is a major one of the organization, since we're dealing with a couple $1 million in a year. Well, another one could be weatherization, or could be our revolving loan fund, could be our EDA planning monies, or weatherization, and maybe 1 or 2 other items. But yeah, it's every year,
And
and it's in process now.
but it has, I remember that, but it has to be an accounting firm that can do tax-funded entities.
It's federal, there's training they have to go to that ensures that they know how, Yellow Book is the old term for it, but it's uniform guidance is the current federal standards, and they have to have training in uniform guidance, which is Code of Federal Register.
If I remember right, we had 5 bids.
There were 5 showing interest, but I think only 4 ended up submitting something firm and formal.
And then, so do you solicit bids for your audit every year?
No, it's usually on a 3-year basis.
Would you say that's a pretty typical professional rotation to go 3 to 5 years on a bid process for your audit?
Well, for our organization it is, or other regional type entities I'm familiar with. It's pretty good. It's something that the funders, like the Homeland Security or EDA, they suggest doing it every 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And usually we have a 3-year agreement,
Mm-hmm.
so save the quarters. Hopefully the firms don't have much of a turnover in that time, so.
Right, or price increase.
Yeah. Now, in regards to cities, counties, I don't see much change with those entities unless the audit firms do kind of fall away from things. And the firm that you guys have had has had changes in the last 4 or 5. Well, I'm trying to think when John Denny retired, but
3 years ago, I think.
yeah, something like that. You've had some of those changes. And that's the important thing, is to see changes, in my mind. And our audit firm, the one we were using, Potberg, Gassman, and Hoffman, they're having changes at the end of this year. So that was a big reason for going out, because we had an agreement with them to continue 1 more year. But they weren't going to fulfill that. They couldn't fulfill that because of their auditor changes and the partner changes. So they're ceasing doing any kind of governmental audits. So that's why we're going the other Manhattan firm route, Gilmore and Associates, and feel pretty good about that. So they do Riley County, and they've done a couple of other counties. But yeah. Well, other board kind of things that unfortunately Alexis has missed. We recently had one at Salina, K-State Polytech. And I very good turnout, but we also had a lot of partners with other projects we get involved with in the region. And one's knowledge-based economic development. They're Manhattan or Riley County based with Kansas State University. That's their focus, is to take research from the university, try to apply it out beyond, well, they don't get very far beyond Clay Dickinson County, maybe Potawatomi County to the east, a little bit Riley County. But we've been involved with what I call tax credit monies, which we've been able to use in Riley County or in Morris County, if you know where that is, or Lyon County, because the governor, well, the previous governor, Kathleen Sebelius, Mark Parkinson, and then Governor Brownback had established that to go into 19 counties versus just our normal 12. But those guests came to the board meeting and shared some about things that we all get involved with and what their hopes are for research and doing other things. And that conversation, or that dialogue, segued into what I call the conversation about unmanned aircraft systems, which is fairly new in nature, and still a lot of bugs being worked out with the Federal Aviation Administration. And that is what I call sort of a hot topic with K-State Polytech. That's why we met there, so we could see some of that and to have a first-hand experience with it. We're not doing much directly with it other than trying to support it for the entrepreneurship side, and the project that will happen based on the announcement of that day and furthering conversations will qualify for some funding for what I call a laboratory development. It won't do much with the basic electrical or infrastructure part of it. It's really the design of the laboratory and setting things up, and it'll probably be in the south end of campus, but it's for entrepreneurship, fabrication lab things, which could benefit or should benefit around the Salina K-State Polytech region. In that, it should be able to help those who are wanting to do things university related, like the unmanned aircraft, or something else university related where they can work with that person, that entrepreneur, right there in that laboratory. And of course, they need space for that kind of equipment, UAV stuff, but they also need space for some of these other things that they're good at doing, some of the mechanical engineering and all. So that was a fairly positive undertaking board meeting, I guess tour, processes, facilities. So I would certainly welcome folks to participate in those sorts of things, those unique things. But that's mostly update on things and where things are at. And it's just a reminder, we have to, notify counties of renewals of board participation and proxies, if possible. And all of you have participated in one way or another, so that's very much appreciated from the staff side. But if you have any questions about that or any wonderings, feel free to let me know or contact the office in general.
Do you take new board appointments before the turn of the year or after the turn of the year?
Well, it's up to the locals, but the NCRPC Executive Board should be known by that January, I think it's the 25th, it's the last Thursday of January meeting. So it'd be ideal to know it early in the month. Now, with there not being an election here, that's possible, I would say.
Yeah.
The answer to that.
Would one of you want to show interest for the 2018 year?
Do you not want to do it anymore?
I don't believe that I've been able to learn as much as I need to learn about the internal workings of what we do and be a benefit to bring something external, into the system. I think that since both of you are senior, experienced here, you may very well be able to facilitate more of an external pool of knowledge and bring it in, because I find myself, I have research time just in looking at our own workings, let alone trying to figure out a separate organization, how they do things, how they're funded, bring any information back to the table that may or may not be pertinent. I mean, I think I expressed this at the last meeting where we have problems with our infrastructure,
Mhm.
just keeping it alive, you know.
Oh,
It's hard
even
to.
Saline County does, because they have so much pavement there.
Right, and we're in a different situation than that, but I think we have some issues that are so basic that I don't know how we can focus a lot of time or attention on additional, and we have branches for that. I understand, you know, you're in contact with Kelly Larson a lot, and now,
On
and now with
different-
the
yeah.
food, right?
We've worked with Mike and Mr. Bob here before he retired the first or second time, I can't remember, but a lot of projects just to try to help that, but those are only drops in the bucket kind of things.
Well, and I'm very interested in the concept of strategic planning, and I understand
Yeah.
that that's probably what you're going to be undertaking on a regional level
Mm-hmm.
next year.
Yeah.
And that might be something that, you know, one of you could bring back to the table as far as knowledge, information, and planning.
That January meeting will be that first one of those. We'll probably meet 3 times during the year. And in reality, we had a function this last Thursday, which is part of that, but it was geared towards nonprofits. And there were a couple of nonprofit groups represented in Lincoln County up at that function, probably about 25 or 30 people at that, so that's good. Every county had somebody there, which was very nice.
Have either of you served on the commission?
No, I mean,
They've been proxies.
Yeah, I've
I
been
call it,
there.
which
But
is
it's
fine.
always been the member, it's always been the third member from,
Well, Steve did it for a long time.
And
because
Steve Aribo was
Steve had been the chairman of
5,
the
6
Economic
years.
Development Committee, so he just assumed the role.
Now, I'll just say, if it's concerned or troublesome, it could be that the county commission appoints somebody else to participate. But my perspective is it needs to be somebody else who responds back to the commissioners or shares some things. Because I don't try to go to that many commission meetings, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 a year, depending on what act. You might get tired of seeing me and communicating about this. It's nice if there is somebody else that really has interest in participating, but they have to dialogue with the Board of Commissioners, the county clerk, and others here. Have to have some interaction.
If you don't, I mean, if you're not in, if you would rather not do it, I'll consider it.
yeah, well, we can talk about it. I think that gave me an opportunity to bring it up since you're here today,
Yeah.
because like I said, it's not that it's not interesting and good information, it's just, they kind of asked me if I would do it, which now I'm learning it's always been this seat that's been on that board, so
Gerald was, and
right, and that's fine. I just think
get Steve before him.
I wasn't as much of an asset maybe as they could be, since they don't need to take as much time doing what I'm doing, just, you know, learning our internal processes.
I was trying to think who before Steve.
Doug Elmo was on it, wasn't he? I think
A little
Doug-
bit, yeah. A little bit, maybe just a year though.
Yeah.
I think Dwight Hiller.
Yeah, Dwight probably was. Of course, Mr. Kovaman and Charlene Jones way back when. Oh, Pete Falcon was for a while too, so.
It was also district.
Yeah. But in some cases, such as in Republic County, Luke Mahan participates. He works for Jen Russ Marketing, freelance marketing, but he also fills some time at economic development up there. And it's a pretty good fit to get him involved, but I just want to make sure. He goes to see commissioners every so often, so dialogues about this. But Ed Spleekles is backup, Ed's county commissioner. So he gets the email updates, he gets things like that, so. Staying in touch, that's a big thing, is we're all connected to different things, different places, learnings. And trying to think of what else in regards to that. Yeah, the January meeting will be, yeah, I'd say pretty important. It's important for us organization-wise to have that feedback, just like last week having a couple people from Lincoln County be there, nonprofit related, but still we work with nonprofits or we have some involvement of them. There is some research we can do there to spur on some of the questions they had, so. Anyway, anything else for the good of the half hour?
Thanks, Doug. I don't think I have anything, Doug. Thank you for your work though on the Sylvan
Yeah,
rehab
well,
project.
that's a dynamic, larger project, so. It's a dandy one.
Thank you.
See you later.
Thank you, Doug.
You want me to have Carol call you?
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do the minutes.
We'll need to figure that out, 'cause we don't know.
Good luck to Steve. Brenda.
I don't know if they were in.
Yeah. Well, it's not a huge bad, I'm sure she was. Say 3,000 or 4,000. I'll ask her.
I thought it might be important to add, just for informative purposes, because it was my question when LaDonna was talking, or I'm sorry, when Leanne was talking to us last week about getting a new driver's license and what the purpose is and that you have to have it by 2020. Could we add that you will need new identification by 2020 in order to fly or enter federal buildings without a passport? Because that confused me. I thought you couldn't even, I thought you were required to have this new driver's license. And I didn't, and it's only if you don't have a passport. Because then, that gives you the indication that you need to go and renew it right away before 2020, which is 2 years away.
So are you saying?
Can we
Get
add
a passport after federal buildings?
without passport? Basically, the sentence will say, Bishop answered questions concerning the issuance of the real ID driver's license, noting that residents will need new identification by 2020 in order to fly or enter federal buildings without a passport. So if you don't have a passport, you have to have your driver's license updated now with this new system. And I didn't know that, so that would clarify that for me. And maybe, just informatively, I think that helps.
Okay, everybody, I'm sorry, I can't see the Belgium.
I'm
Yeah.
fine, yeah, I'm fine with it.
I don't think I saw anything else.
I moved to approve the minutes as corrected.
I'll second.
Move and second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Don, do you have things for us?
I do, before you leave, I have the abstract, so we'll recess and then go back and finish the abstract, but,
Okay. Well,
okay. You guys really didn't officially cancel the December 26th meeting? So
No, I
is
didn't,
that
I
the
just
desire of
I
everybody?
suggested it, I did not.
Do we have to,
Cancel. Well, I feel like I should put the board approved, but I didn't feel like I really should put the board approved because I wasn't sure that you all were in agreement to
I
it. So
think we agreed.
that's a Monday, right?
It's
Yeah,
a Tuesday after
we were
Christmas.
gonna do that
Yes.
because they wouldn't have payroll and stuff ready.
So we're just gonna meet on the 29th?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
what,
That's what I suggested.
Sure.
it's fine with me. Do you want a motion?
I don't need a motion unless you want to do it by a motion, but I just didn't feel comfortable putting it in there because I didn't really know if I had agreement.
And the
with it.
first is on a Monday, so does that mean our meeting is on Tuesday?
Yes.
Yes.
So could we just put that in there, that the December meetings, there will be no meeting on the 26th, it will be on the 29th, and then the next regular meeting will be on the 2nd?
No.
And then I received a phone call from Bob Kringle asking me to forward him the lease agreement with John Grace because he needed to work on the amendment that you guys had approved for the $400.
We had
We
not
haven't
approved.
approved the amendment for
That's
$400.
what I told him, and I said I thought that they were just taking it under consideration, so I told him I would stick it in the box to find out.
I
So I don't know if you wanna have discussion, or if you wanna schedule discussion and invite them back. I don't know what you guys wanna do. You tell me.
I think we probably need to have some discussion with our legal representatives, I think, concerning it. Our option.
I agree. I think we need counsel. And I'm not sure we don't need to meet with them again too, probably.
Okay.
That was just kind of thrown out there, and I think it was assumed that we would bite, and we haven't yet.
So, try to get Jennifer on the agenda next Monday to discuss it?
That
Yeah,
would be good.
that'll be fine.
Okay.
Or we'll be back on, if she can't make it on Monday, we can always do it the Friday after Thanksgiving, or Thursday, whenever we're meaning to pay bills to.
Okay. I was pretty confident that I was correct, but sometimes I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was no action taken. Merely took it under consideration.
And a couple of those bills I brought back because they weren't initialized. so
Yeah,
two of
I
them
thought
saw-
about that when I got home. I thought I didn't do my job. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Anything else come before this board, I guess? If you're done, Don, are you done except for the abstract?
Just the abstract,
Okay.
and I think we'll recess. I'm seeing if they'll bring me down. I thought they were gonna bring me down.
Okay.
One that you guys checked off on.
Okay, that means it's me, and I brought my computer today, which I haven't upstairs. I can actually get Wi-Fi down here, and it's really strong. I mean, I haven't had any trouble, and up in the commission room, I cannot get anything. So, I think this is a better venue. I understand that this room is used sometimes and we can't, but I would appreciate being able to access things if I need them, via internet and things like that. So I'd kind of like to see us create a normal setting here and then use the small room if and when we don't have access to this bigger room. I think it's more conducive all the way around. Last week we had people standing in the hallway.
Well, I think this room is being used.
I understand.
And they have a court upstairs, so court's
Yeah,
out.
we can't always accommodate so well, but I feel like this setting is a little more, open to the open meeting concept. Is that something that we can consider?
Oh, I don't have a problem considering it. I think we need to somehow figure out how often this room is used on a Monday, get some idea.
I know Transportation Bus Board uses it. I think Crime Victims was in here one time. Every once in a while, the veteran person is here, but I think normally he's here on Tuesdays.
If
Once
it's
we
a
get-
small group, are they able to use the room
They
at the
could-
south end there, beside
They
economic
could use
development?
our room.
I would say
Or-
maybe they could use the commissioners.
Yeah.
room.
Especially if it's small, yeah.
We've done that with the bus board before. We've changed rooms with them.
Mhm.
I think the only big thing is like when they're preparing for Bear, the extension kind of expands out, but I'm not so sure that they really did that this year. But technically, it's our meeting room, so they just schedule because they use it as, for say an office.
What is this called? The basement meeting room?
I call it the basement meeting room.
I don't know if it has an official name. I think most generally does an extension kind of keep track of who reserves it or something because they're right down here.
What's
so.
in there? Is that a closet?
It's a vault
Oh.
without.
The vaults go from the basement all the way to the
Oh.
third floor, second floor, whatever.
So, I move to change commission meeting, amend, please. I move to change regular commission meetings to the basement meeting room of the courthouse.
Is that what you wanted? Okay, so I have changed regular commission meetings to the basement meeting room of the courthouse?
Yes.
I'll second it.
Been moved and second. Any discussion?
I think just taking note that we will possibly have to change venue depending on whether or not a large group needs this space. Just a clarification.
Anything else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried.
The only other time that I can really think it'd be a problem is when the auditors are here, cause it's
Yeah.
just spread out,
For like a week.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but.
That's one meeting a year probably.
I'm just
the-
not sure I've come down and seen very many people in there.
The other thing I had, Aljo, you had asked me to remind you months and months ago, so I'm keeping good on that.
Want to remind me of what?
The board appointments for 2018 that we have openings.
Yeah,
I know last year, well, I should say at the beginning of this year, we got a list of the people who had previously filled the seat, and then we
Mhm.
called them, and then we asked if they were
Yeah.
willing to return. I would like to advertise those. It's almost the end of the year, so if anyone does want to show interest, it's at least out there for a few weeks. And then, I don't know, who do they show interest to? To us directly? Do they call the commission office?
They
I
Or
would say do it by written, maybe a letter.
to the county
I think
clerk.
that'd be the
That's why we
simplest
did,
thing.
when we were doing the web board, when we first started it, we told people if they were interested to contact the county clerk, and we would submit what they wanted, or we didn't have a form to fill out. I think we just took names, didn't we? And they kind of gave us a reason for their interest, and then we picked from that. Chose
So
from-
Dawn, if they call in to you, would you ask them to write in, or if you want
Could we
it
just
written?
put something in the paper, following positions are up for
Express your
appointment?
interest in writing, or?
Yeah, I would say it
can
needs to be
design it
expressed
for
in
you.
writing.
I think it needs to be in writing.
It
in
needs
that
to be
way.
in writing. That's
If
not,
they call me and I forget they call me, if they
Yeah.
call Alexis
Yeah, I
and she
agree.
forgets, you know.
It's
I think
gotta be in
better to
writing.
Okay, so submit
So
interest in writing?
yes.
And in the ad, are we putting who currently is on the board?
I think you're gonna have to list the boards, Dawn.
List the
'Cause-
boards and the persons currently or not?
Well, I don't know whether we need to list the persons that are
I think you could
currently,
just put how many positions are open.
but I think you need to list the types of committees, because there will be some people that may not want on the hospital board, but may be more interested in the historical board.
Well, I think
Something
they
like-
need to indicate what board they're interested
Yeah,
in.
so-
I would
Boards,
just,
board of boards.
I'm assuming, this that I gave you, I'm assuming I would just put this.
Yeah.
Number of positions available.
How many are available,
Kick out
right?
their names.
I would say so,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't think we need to list who's
Yeah, I don't think we-
expiring. It just needs to say that there's a seat open.
We will be appointing board members to these following committees. If you have an interest, please indicate in writing.
And for what position they're interested in.
Do you need a motion?
No, not unless you want.
No, I don't.
I would like to advertise in both papers though, because I do know that,
That's not a problem,
yeah, the west end of the county is
yeah.
more thoroughly
How about
inundated with Southern
this?
Lucas
How
Southern.
to sign an ad this week, bring it, and you guys can approve it, and then we'll put it in the papers.
That sounds good. Yeah, that sounds great.
That'd be good.
Were we going to discuss gravel price? How soon did you want to discuss that? What do we want to take into consideration? We got our basic information here from the Road and Bridge Department about pricing and what we've done in the last 2 years as far as what it's taken from our budget. Did you guys want to have some sort of tentative conclusion or start discussion?
Well, I think we need to discuss it, but I'd like to have the highway department present while we're discussing.